What's up, everybody? Hey, today we're going to talk about hormones and hormonal balance. So, first of all, I want to also say that I'm not a physician and I'm not giving recommendations. This is just what I did for me when I had my blood work done and what worked. And the reason I ended up having my blood work done is because when I was about 30, about 30, I kept gaining weight, and no matter what I did, I used to compete in fitness shows. I've always been active. I've always ate pretty well. And for the most part, had a decent, metabolism. But I kept exercising more, eating better, and it didn't matter what I did. My weight just kept creeping up. Now, also, since then, I've learned a lot about different types of eating and eating habits and, not exercising too much and stressing the body. But at this point in time, I was doing what I had always done up until then, which, back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was, eat 6 times a day, like fish and asparagus, and that's it. And, you know, a lot of things have changed, and we now know there's so many different ways to eat and be healthy. But at that point in time, that's what I knew. So that's what I was doing. And it was really frustrating that, if I ate anything at all, had a cheat meal or ate anything but fish and asparagus, I just kept gaining weight. And I probably put on, I don't know, maybe like 20 pounds. And I'm 5 foot. So if someone that's 5 foot, that's a lot. So I reached out to my cousin and her company, their company. There's a lot of different people. It's their company that created it, started it, worked there, but the company that she works with. And the reason I reached out to them is because they have all of these testimonials on, people who had these horrible autoimmune disorders that were young in their 20s and had been going to doctors and specialists for like the last 10 years of their life, and none of the medication works. They're miserable. And then they take a healthy alternative approach and they start supplementing their body with everything it needs to basically function properly, and it changed their lives. So I was seeing all these testimonials and I was blown away. So I reached out to them and they said the first thing you need to do is get your blood work done. So I scheduled my appointment and my blood work came back and it was terrible, which is crazy because, really, if you think about it, I was 30 years old and I ate healthy and I worked out and my numbers were awful. So I was very estrogen dominant. I had way too much estrogen in my system. I had very low progesterone and low testosterone. And then there was other indications in my blood work that I probably had high cortisol levels too. So that being said, they're like, okay, we need to reduce your stress, and that's what I talked about in the previous video was the cortis and how that is amazing for helping you sleep. And but the other thing was really needed to balance my hormones. So I started. They wanted me to start taking estrocort, and that just helps kind of catabolize the extra. Let me share my screen here. There we go. The extra estrogen in your body. And you can see here, it is estrocort is designed to support hormone balance and reduce excess estrogen in the body. So they put me on that, on the recommended dose for me based off of my blood work. And then in addition to that, so we wanted to get rid of the excess estrogen. Then to help my body produce more progesterone, which I needed more of. Then they also suggested that I add this. And this I just take under my tongue at night before I go to bed. And this is an herbal supplement formulated to provide support for estrogen balance via increased progesterone, menstrual regularity, and menstrual discomfort. So, this is a chasterberry fruit extract, and it has been studied thoroughly for the support of gynecological problems such as menstrual irregularity and hypermenorrhea. Menorrhea. Hmm. That word I've not heard of. But so I started taking these two together. Um, in addition with the court ease at night. And they also, my numbers also show that I looked like I was insulin resistant. So that's going to be another video is insulin because I feel like it's an entire topic all by itself. But for me, after I started doing this, I got my blood work done again, I think 3 or 4 months later. And my numbers were totally different. My testosterone levels were super healthy. Um, my estrogen levels came back to a normal range, and my progesterone had increased to a normal range. So, this stuff does have to build in your body. It's not going to be like an overnight fix. So, you do have to take it regularly. But I mean, I continue to get my blood work done every 6 months typically. And every time they come back, and I'm 40 at this point. So every time they come back, the doctors are always like, wow, your numbers are really good. And then they usually say too, they usually say, yeah, especially for your age, these numbers are great, which is great. But it's funny how they do kind of always throw that in there. But if you feel like you're having trouble losing weight or you're gaining weight or you just don't feel like yourself, you feel off and you're not sure why, you know, get your hormones checked, get your blood work checked. And based off of that, maybe do some research on some healthy alternatives. I know I had a friend who she had just had a baby and she was breastfeeding, but she kept bleeding and it wasn't stopping. And the doctors didn't know what to do. And, um, a lot of people, a lot of doctors just suggest birth control. But, we know now today that that's not very good for you. So she reached out to me and she's like, "Hey, I know you're really into these supplements. What?" She's like, "Here's my blood work. I don't know what to do." So I just told her what I did, and I told her to visit the site and to look at each supplement to see if she feels, whatever she feels comfortable with. Again, I whatever she feels comfortable with. But she did end up getting the chasterberry, the estrocort, and the court ease. And after 1 month of taking it, all of her bleeding stopped, no more problems. She got her blood work done again. Her numbers were great and she felt great. She's like, "Thank you so much. I finally feel like myself again." So, yeah, if you feel like just something isn't quite right and you need to do some work, always start with your blood work first and then go from there and just kind of make those choices to help your body, like I said, function on its own the way it's supposed to keep you feeling good. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And until then, I'll see you next time.